Hey YouTubers, thanks for viewing the channel. Just wanted to show you a few mods onto the older YZ400 today. So you'll see this in the other videos, and if you have a look you might see it had a little bit of an extension on the back of the tail here. So I welded this on previously, and that was to hold the exhaust with the twin exhaust hangers. But I've got a few ideas for a mod or two. So first, just show you how it used to be. And of course that wasn't going to fall off. So this is the old cross bracket or cross member, and that used to be factory welded across there, and this is a little bit of a homemade effort I did before. So whipped that off, and I got some plate steel, and I've made up a little bit of a hoop which looks like that so far. So I'll do a little bit of progress as we go through, and the idea of that is that's going to sit up under the seat and be the seat support. And then I've got a bit of an idea for extensions at the back, and what we're going to look at there is we're going to use a bit of this 19mm tube and weld that onto the back of the chassis rails, and then on the inside just going to reinforce that with a bit of this 16mm tube. So that's the sort of basic concept, and we'll see how we go. It's a little bit of a weekend job because I want to ride it next weekend, and if I can get that together and weld it up, then things should be looking good. Just the other thing I had to do was this rail was bent up quite a lot, probably a good inch at this end. So got the blowtorch going on there and just gave that a bit of a hammer down. But the old girl is 78, so coming, 45 years old, and still going strong at the moment. So this mod should just help me out on some of the longer rides. Let's see how we go. Okay, so just working out how the shape of this goes exactly under the seat rubbers here, and what we're doing is just going to mark those down, and when I'm happy with that and marked off those tubes, I'm going to translate that into this bracket, weld some tabs up and get that welded on. And the other thing on here, I just cleaned up all the old bracket, just ground all that down, polished the tubes up inside, and I've just got these inner tubes that will just slide in there, so it should help me get my bracket on the back. Okay, so we've got this cleaned up now. So this bracket, just chamfered those edges on. This bracket fits nicely on there. The two white tapes are the equidistant up those two tubes. So that's all good to go and fits nicely under the seat. And I can show you that in a second. And next, we're just putting on these extensions prior to putting on the tailpiece. Let's see how we go with that. Okay, so I've put those two tubes in the back and hammered those in. I'll have to take that sticker off. And now if I put these tubes on here, then you'll probably get an idea what we're making. Well, you might have got that from the thumbnail. Okay, let's just try and pull that on. There we go. So that is a little long at the moment, but it is progressing. So the next thing we'll do is just get this bracket finished up with some tabs. So that's ready to go from a shape point of view. So we'll get that on, get that tabbed up and tacked on, and then we'll work on this back bit here. So I've got a few ideas how I want that to work out. Let's keep going. Okay, so that's pretty much finished and ready to weld on. So we'll get that on a bit later. And now moving on to this piece, which is a piece of channel angle or angle with slots, and just cut some grooves in there, so we'll see what we can do with that in a moment. Okay, so we're primed up, cleaned up and primed up, and ready to tack that on just there. Then I'll get the seat in position, and then finally can get on with these back rails. Okay, so a little bit more progress. So just modifying the exhaust so that that will fit up under the new rail, and also on the old rail there, because it's a little bit, what's the word, bent down from where it used to be. It used to be up a lot higher, so now it's going to stick out a lot more on the flat. And then also pulley welded on the centre bracket there. So we've just got to clean those welds up a little bit, and drilled these holes through for this mudguard just to get that in temporary position. So we are getting there. Also welded together just roughly that rail, and now just got to shorten that rail to get that length right, and then we're well on the way. In the meantime, there's a trombone. How good's that? Okay, let's keep going and see how we go. Okay, progress. So this is the stage we've got to. So I finished up this frame. I went with all welded construction, welded to these bars, dropped down onto those bars, and shortened these bars off a little bit. So time for a bit of paint and a clean up, and we'll get that bolted together and see what it looks like. We'll clean these welds up a little bit better than that is, but we'll see how we go. And the seat still comes off nicely, and there's that inner frame holding everything together. Okay, can get on with the exhaust now. Okay, so we've got that all welded up and painted now. So it's looking a little flashier than the rest of the bike, but we'll get there. One day we'll strip it all down and paint it all, I think in the red, the same. Originally it came in a factory black, but some guy painted it red many years ago, and I quite like it. Although we are, with this rear tank, in theory we're going back to the white fuel tank, and then I'll get a white mudguard for the back, and then at least it'll be then sort of two colours. Another day we'll be doing that exhaust and welding that up and fixing things. Okay, so let's get it reassembled. Okay, so here we are, finished. And all back assembled and even been battle tested. So things worked out pretty well. I was quite happy with the end result. So no cracks in the welds. It even washed up quite nicely. Not the perfect there. And my idea for holding it on was these very super made in USA straps. Don't know if anybody recognises those. Can't remember the brand, but they are awesome. They did the best job holding that 5 kilos or so on the back. And the only other things I really learned was maybe I didn't need the grab handle on this trip. It's pretty handy to push the bike around with. When you jump over some of the jumps, your bum hits this, which isn't ideal. Maybe I could have tilted it back a bit more or moved it back up the bike a little bit. But I think overall I got it about the right place. The seat was a little tight just to get into the frame there, but it does move around a bit, and I did forget to do the bolt up on the seat in my rush to get ready. But one day I'll tear it down and paint the whole frame. But if you need a tank, it's the most important thing. So I managed to use the whole of that tank twice and the whole of that tank twice, and I still ran out of fuel. So maybe I need to look at the jetting, but that's a job for another day. But other than that, thanks for watching and looking at my little build and mods on the old girl. And I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, and please like the video on the bell if you enjoy the content. Okay, thanks for watching.